Hey, fellas, why is it that when we want nothing but peace, all we seem to find is chaos in our lives? You know, whether it's in our relationships, friendships, just kind of out here in the world, we seem to attract this chaotic energy to us. Why is that though? Well, on my journey, I've learned why it is. And in discovering where this comes from, I've been able to work with it a bit better and maintain more control over my life, maintain more peace in my life. And I want to share that with you. I would ask yourself a question. What was your childhood like? For me personally, I grew up in a chaotic childhood from about 11 to 18. And over the course of my journey, I've learned how much that has impacted my life. It's almost as if I was conditioned for chaos. And this really started to show itself to me in my relationships. Because when I was growing up, I never saw healthy relationships in my household. So when I would get in relationships, when I was a grown man, it seems that I was attracting that same type of energy, or that I was subconsciously creating the same type of dynamic in my relationships. But I never knew that this was going on. It took me a while to get to this point to be able to figure it out and to be able to kind of learn how to work with it, improve it, and reprogram myself so I can stop it from happening. What I learned is that chaos would feel familiar. I didn't really understand this, but now I can look back on it and I can see it. It was like peace in my household, or peace in my relationships, I should say, felt unfamiliar. What felt familiar was that chaos. My nervous system was used to that because that's what I experienced when I was a kid. That's what happens. Our nervous system gets used to certain energy and certain dynamics based on what we grew up around. So we just kind of model that and repeat it in our relationships when we get older. But a lot of us don't realize this. So for me, you know, the few serious relationships that I've been in, I realized this was kind of always a recurring pattern. I had to learn how to create my new familiar. What I mean by that is chaos felt familiar, but I had to create a new familiar. I had to create something new that felt like home for me, because that chaos felt like home. It's what I was used to. It's what I was programmed to be in, but it wasn't healthy, obviously. So I had to learn tools and equip myself with different ways of operating in my life. And that's not easy to do, you know, and most people shy away from it because it's not easy. This takes a lot of work to be able to do that. What I had to do, man, is I had to go back and really heal those parts of myself that were hurt when I was a younger man, when I was a little boy. I had to really put the awareness on that hurt little boy. For a lot of my life, I just went through life never acknowledging that part of myself, didn't even realize that part of myself existed. All I knew is that when I felt misunderstood, when I felt like I wasn't being seen, when I felt like I wasn't being heard, specifically in my relationships, this would cause me to lash out. It took me a while to get a handle on this. It took me a while to recognize what was going on, but it really stemmed from me not feeling heard, not being seen, getting defensive, having to prove myself. It's coming from this place of hurt, because when I was a younger boy, I didn't get that. I wasn't seen, I wasn't heard. And I started carrying those wounds and carrying that hurt with me into relationships. And I would damage those relationships too, due to that unaddressed hurt. And this was a whole process, man. Like I said, this is not easy, bro. And it's gonna require like some therapy, some coaching, some mentorship, finding you a friend that you really trust, that may be a few steps ahead of you in your life, because you need to be able to process this type of stuff. When you start going back and trying to rework and try to reprogram, it's not easy to do it on your own. And that leads me to one of the biggest tools that I did discover is acceptance. You gotta be able to accept that you had no control over the environment you were in. Okay, and this is very powerful. You can really understand this. I had to learn to accept that I had no control over the household I grew up in, how the adults acted in my household. I had no control over that. But once I got old enough and I realized that this is what was affecting my life, it was my responsibility to take control over my life. And that's what requires the work. That's the hard part. I had to start recognizing these patterns that were tripping me up. this really was a big step for me to learn how to free myself from past hurts, past traumas, and learning how to really kind of let go and step into a more authentic version of myself. There was 2 books that were very helpful for me. I'll leave the link for you in my description box. I do have an affiliate link for these. If you do decide to get them, I do get a very, very small commission on them, but I talk about them in a lot of my videos. The 4 Agreements is an amazing book that really helped me to kind of see who I was, see problems that I had, and really kind of guided me in a way to start working on these things. Another one was The Power of Now. These 2 books were life-changing for me, and they can really help you out when you're ready to receive the knowledge in them. Like I said, the journey is long, man, and there was a lot of steps that I had to take. Being in acceptance, understanding those hurt parts of myself, learning how to heal those parts of myself. Meditation was very powerful because it allowed me to train my mind a bit better so that when I got triggered, when you get activated, started to gain more of a sense of control of myself and not let my emotions just kind of drive the car. You know, that's what's key about this. This is why we always tend to lean to chaos, because we let our thoughts drive the car. The relationship we have with our thoughts and how we think and our thinking process is not the healthiest, because it was developed in a time when we didn't see healthy behaviors. And again, we're picking up these patterns and we're applying these in our lives in this unhealthy way. So meditation was very helpful for me to retrain how I thought. Working out was beneficial. Learning how to process my emotions was beneficial. These are all things that helped me find peace in chaos. And it also helped me start to recognize the chaos that I was creating myself due to my own trauma, due to my own past wounds, due to my own hurts and stuff like that. So I had to really, it was like a real big overhaul for myself. I had to really change how I operated. So the reason you keep finding chaos when you really want peace is because you were trained for it. You were conditioned for that chaos. And in order for you to step out of that, it's going to take some work. And it's going to take some of these steps that I'm sharing with you. All right, you have to improve your self-awareness. You have to learn how to understand the stories that you tell yourself about any given situation. When something's being done to you, being said to you, you have to learn how to be curious about this stuff and question these things, because they're not always true. They may be triggering and activating old wounds that were created at a time in your life where you had no control over it. And they're popping up. They're showing up. It's like that little boy is reaching out saying, hey man, that's hurting my feelings, man. It's been hurting me since I was 9 years old, man. I don't know how to handle it. I don't know how to work through it. I need you, the authentic version of yourself, this new person you're trying to become. I need you to soothe me, man. Tell me that it's okay. This is how you find true peace. You have to go back and calm that chaotic version of yourself. If you want to learn how to work on this, reach out to me. I'm a coach. I help men with emotional mastery, learning how to understand, process your emotions so that they don't get the better of you. This is stuff that I used to deal with all the time. If any of this resonates with you, leave me some comments below. Let me know what you think about this video. Let me know how this is hitting you, if this makes sense to you. I'm here to help, brother. If this video provided you with any value, man, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. Also, make sure you check out my playlist on emotional intelligence so that you can learn how to improve that. And I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace.